Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with life coach and energy coach Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday, March the 20th, 2020. It's 4 p.m. New York time. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And of course, all week long, the conversations have been influenced by the coronavirus epidemic, pandemic going around. And we have, of course, taken a completely different tone from what you get from most major media. So not surprisingly, we're seeing our listenership numbers hitting new highs because of this tone that we're taking. We're really appreciating all of you tuning in, and we're going to continue that today. I can report to you, my wife and I have both experienced what we're pretty sure are probably symptoms related to it, and it's been pretty mild so far. When we've experienced something, we've taken measures. Earlier I was feeling some chills, so hey, I put on a sweater. What a great idea, got myself a little bit of water and just took it easy and just concentrated on feeling good. And that's what I've been doing all day. Louise has been doing very much the same kind of thing. And I'm really convinced that's the key to this thing. Linda, it's amazing because there's been so much focus on all the negatives associated with this thing. And yet very few people, including those in the medical field who have spoken to the media and to the public, have reminded us how immunity gets built up. There's all the emphasis on, humans have no immunity to this. This is a brand new virus, so that's why we're in this terrible state of stress and concern and so forth. But they forget to remind everybody, well, immunity actually gets created in the human body. Whoop, did I lose you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, for a second I lost you, but I've got you back. Okay,
good. So people forget that, we create immunity in our bodies. That's exactly what our bodies are designed to do. They're designed to create immunities to fight these viruses and other invaders. And they do a really good job at it if, and this is a big if, we allow them to, not just by treating ourselves right physically, but also treating ourselves right mentally. One of the things that my sister-in-law, Ioana, who has rejoined the show and is now doing the Monday shows with me and Louis D'Souza, has pointed out to me on numerous occasions, is that when we focus on good feeling stuff, it's a signal to our bodies to heal. And when we focus on bad feeling stuff, it's a signal to our bodies to die off. And it is literally that direct. They're able to, with the various kinds of scanning and testing they can do, they can actually trace through the body somebody who's feeling good, who's focusing on something that feels good, and they can literally see the healing going on. And when the opposite is happening, they can see the destruction going on. So, focusing on what we like, it isn't just being a conscious creator, although that's certainly everything in one sense. It's literally how we heal. It's how we get better. It's how we get into that better feeling place. And plus, I brought this up to you before the show. You said, well, let's do some healing on that from an energetic perspective. I said, cool, let's do it. Let's get the healing going here. But I really want to let people know, don't forget what you already know about how the human body works. The human body is designed to fight off invaders. That's its goal. That's its job. And it's good at it. It's really, really good at it. So that's the way I'm starting off today's podcast.
Right. And let's not forget that we do create our own reality. So really, truly, those people who go into fear over all of this are upping their chances of actually contracting this because they're allowing it into their reality. Now, there are a lot of people out there speaking about all sorts of things. And I seem to find the ones that are talking about how this could really blow over pretty quickly. I was watching David Wilcock did a 2.5-hour thing on his YouTube yesterday, and you can go and watch it if you want now. And he's going to do 3 more follow-ups to this. Mm-hmm. He's bringing in a lot of data. His slideshow wasn't working. He had all these technical difficulties, which always seems to happen to him because he's got a lot of people trying to suppress him. This guy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, his life and his wife's life have been threatened numerous times. He had to get bodyguards because he's letting information out that some forces don't want out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anyway, whether you want to buy into any of that or not, it was a really good video because he also talked about how you can boost yourself basically through vitamins, A, B, C, D, and E, drinking lots of water, getting plenty of rest. Right. So when you keep yourself, really energetically too, this is a time for us to really come back to ourselves. It's like it's forcing us to come home, like home to who we are,
Yes.
to see what is true for us in our life. Like, where am I getting pulled away from what I really want and desire in my life? You know, I think a lot of people having to slow down, like in some cases, some people have to slow down, right?
Sure.
So that makes you kind of look at things and then maybe re-engage with yourself and what you truly want, right? You might find some things out for yourself. I know I am. And it's just kind of reinforcing a lot of the messages that have come through for me before. And really, it is all about realizing who we are, the truth of who we are, the capabilities that we have, just this human body, which can regenerate. You ever think about yourself? You get cut and then it goes back together.
Yeah. How about that?
It basically goes back together.
Right.
Right?
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
We often forget how amazing that is. I mean, we've gotten so used to it. It's like, oh yeah, well, my cut heals. Sure.
Yeah.
The cut heals. It heals itself. How cool is that?
Right. And now, a lot of people know that I healed my tear in my rotator cuff. I saw the x-rays. There was a bone spur and a tear. I never x-rayed after I healed it. Mm-hmm. I didn't care to. I don't know what it would look like in there now, but there's no pain.
That's the main thing.
And the way I healed it basically was by taking that energy of love, light is love, mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
Feeling what the meditation I would do would guide me to feel what that felt like. So you get a feeling sense of this energy of love. Mm-hmm. And then I would take that and I would put it right into the injury. Mm. And I'm telling you, 2 months, done. No surgery, nothing. So it's reminding me, and a lot of the times when I'm doing healing, I keep getting this message. I always wind up planting a seed of light somewhere within the person's body, mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's in the heart because that handles just about everything. Because a lot of people that come to me aren't coming to me for physical problems. It's more emotional problems, things that are stopping them from moving forward in life. And a lot of that just comes from love, loving who you are, honoring who you are. And so that light, during the sessions, I'll have that light expand and grow, right? And that changes your whole energy. So a lot of the meditations I do, we pull in this light and you feel yourself expand. You can feel the energy of it because everything is energy. So when we connect to that energy, not the fear energy, because if you listen to the media for too long, 5 minutes, you're going to think that the world is ending. The world is not ending. So what I like about what David was sharing last night was he was talking about how really this is just the new beginning. And those were the messages, right? All year long, we've been talking about this new beginning, coming That's back right. to yourself, everything changing on the planet. Well, it's really starting to happen. And not just energetically, although everything is energy. There are huge things happening within government, within structures that are built that we kind of think is the way it has to be, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, that's all outside forces telling us how we need to be and what we need to do. Right. And like, if you listen to maybe your parents or your mom, who's always going to be worrying about you, next thing you know, you're going to be buying gloves and putting on a mask, right?
Exactly. Yeah, sure.
So, I'm just not going there. Yeah, it's good to keep your distance. It's good to,
of course, yeah.
Wash your hands, do all that stuff, but just do it. Not because you're so in fear of you getting the virus.
Precisely.
I was walking into my karate school's been shut down, right? A lot of businesses are shut down. So, sure. Karate, physical fitness, they shut us down.
Right.
So we've been creating videos. That's why I was kind of late for today because I was so lost in creating videos for our students that I almost lost track of time. But we've been going into the dojo just to film video. Mm-hmm. And like walking in, me, my husband, and my son, because we're all involved in the school, we're walking into our dojo. We're outside the building. And there was a woman who literally put her back up against the wall, shimmied past us, right? Because she wanted to be out of that 6 or 8 foot range, whatever that is. Now that's fine. I don't judge her for that. No, but it just goes to show how much fear is out there.
Precisely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you are interested in some of this stuff that might be happening, that's going on, and, David Wilcock is very psychically in tune and gets a lot of messages too. It seems like, according to what the research he's done, which he'll be sharing over these next 3 videos, and already did some on this video last night, that it will probably blow over pretty soon. China's already getting 95% back to capacity. Yeah. Right. There's no more new outbreaks there. And there's no reason why it has to last as long here as it did there, because especially everybody is taking these precautions, right?
Yep.
And it's and the percentage rate of mortality is less than 1%.
Yeah. Which is a lot less than everybody was fearing, which is pretty impressive when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because you have all that fear going on, and yet it still has managed to stay down below that figure. And by the way, what you were saying about, for instance, that poor woman who had so terrified herself that she was inching her way past you guys, it reminded me of something. I've been pretty much staying away from the news, but just before we came on, I was kind of flicking around just to see what was going on, and saw an article that quoted a nurse from Italy who said it was really a tough go because there is such a high level of stress and tension. And she said it was interfering in their ability to work. That's how high the stress and tension was. And, just reading that, it just kind of hit me in the face like, wow, boy, there's a great example of what happens when you allow the stress and tension to overwhelm you and become your dominant thought pattern, as opposed to doing what we're talking about, which is focusing more on what feels good, on what you like, on feeling healthy, on getting healthier, on getting over it if you've got it and not getting it if you don't have it, and all that I mean, literally, it makes a huge, huge difference.
And so what is it telling us? It's reminding us to take regular self-care.
That's right.
Having vitamin C, eating fruits high in vitamin C, a lot of normal, everyday, natural things that we can do to keep ourselves healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great message. Now, I know for me, there's a couple of things going on in my life where I could be thinking this is a disaster. My business is shut down. We did have some students who have already put themselves on hold, right? So that's no money coming to the dojo.
Yeah, we got the same going on too, because we have the gardening business. The gardening business is supposed to be opening now, and we have customers lined up, but we can't go service them.
Right. I know. But fortunately for us, a lot of the parents are just happy that we're putting out these videos to help the kids, because the kids are stuck at home, right? They're doing schoolwork at home. Well, now they can do karate at home too, So we're making these videos. And like one good thing, is my husband's been wanting to build a YouTube channel around the karate stuff and hasn't done it. Well, look, now we have to do it, right? So
Yep, true.
Now we're moving into something that he's been putting off for a while. I have a couple of personal things going on that I want to talk about that are kind of a little bit heavy, if I allow it to be heavy. Yep. But I could see how this thing actually might help the other thing to be resolved. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
but it could happen.
True. Absolutely.
So the question you want to ask is, what could all this craziness and this virus, what good can come from that can be reflected in my own life? That can be reflected in the world. I mean, really, literally, it is for the world. Oh, and another thing I want to add too is, so there's a couple of other intuitives that I've listened to that also see this kind of passing over. But like, I don't know if I've talked about Thomas John before, the seatbelt psychic. He goes all over the
I think you
place.
mentioned him. Yeah.
This guy is so spot on with the evidence that comes through. With every single person he reads for, it'll blow your mind. But he puts out this yearly forecast in December, and he was reading through it. And for the month of March, he had written down in there that there was going to be, he called it March Madness, major events going on in the world. He's intuiting that there's like governments involved, but he wasn't zeroing in. I've heard a few people say that, but they're not naming anything because, of course, you can't do that, right? So whatever that might be. And actually,
I would even
Wilcock talks to some of that.
Let me just interrupt for a second. Let me interrupt for 1 second about that, because I've actually had people in my life bring some of these up, including someone who's close to me, immediate family, who is freaked out about it, who's freaked out about that aspect, of the things going on with governments and all that kind of thing. And it was really interesting because, first of all, this is somebody who actually does believe in the law of attraction. And she was having trouble remembering what she knew, because whenever I was trying to redirect her to, okay, so, all right, you're focused on this thing. Let's see if we can break you away from it. So what's your worst case scenario? What's the how does this play out? She says, I don't know. I mean, she was so resistant to it. And it really just points to how important it is, even for those of us who really understand how this works. We have to be vigilant with our own mindsets. We have to be vigilant with what we're focusing on, because anybody can get caught up in this stuff. You don't have to be not aware of how the law of attraction works in order to be caught up with it. Anybody can get caught up in it. So It really does pay for us every single day to be mindful, to, like you say, to kind of come back in ourselves and ask ourselves, okay, what's going on inside? How am I feeling? Do I need to take care of myself in any way? I mean, earlier today, I told you I was feeling some symptoms. At one point, I was feeling some pretty severe chills that if I didn't have this mindset, I could see myself kind of spiraling and saying, oh my God, I'm about to get really sick. I haven't felt this bad in ages. Well, I took steps, mental steps mainly. I also put a sweater on, kind of bundled myself up. I laid down for about 10 minutes and then I was fine. I shook it off. That shows how quickly, with the mindset and taking the steps, we can actually get past stuff. Now, I got a question for you. And it's the reason why I'm bringing this up. I talked earlier about how it's important for us to remember that our bodies are designed to deal with these invaders, deal with these attackers. That's how we build up immunity. And you mentioned David Wilcox, saying he thinks it's going to blow over fairly quickly. I tend to agree with that. I think it will blow over more quickly than people fear. Let's put it that way. Their fear is that it's going to go on for weeks and weeks, and I don't think that's going to happen. Let's assume for the sake of discussion that we're right. That's the way it plays out. I have been wondering a lot lately, particularly since conversations you and I have had over the last months about the ability of beings to transmit information over long distances without realizing that they're doing it. And I'm wondering, what do you think about the proposition that as our bodies learn how to fight invaders, we pass the information along to other bodies?
Sure. That's the 100th monkey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you're saying all that, it brings up, because I only just listened to David Wilcock last night. He was talking about, the government knows this science about remote viewing, right? So from different things he's bringing forward, and a lot of it is documented. Like, it's not stuff he's making up. It's articles people wrote or books people wrote or pieces of information that are actually available if you want to go and see, and he gives you all the sources. That they knew this was coming. Now, there's also been not just the Americans, but I don't remember how many countries he said, like 17 or 18 countries sending troops into Europe that are going to be doing something regarding what's going on. But even more than that, I don't know if people pay attention. You've been hearing about all these indictments that might be coming out to high officials within the government. Like, the whole thing as part of this disclosure stuff that's been going on is about to be blown up. Like, there's going to be some major things and people are going to be like in shock when they hear it all. That's getting closer and closer to coming out, because there is this deployment that's a fact that is going on that has to do with all of this. And that there'll also be even more with the ET disclosures and things like that. So I'm kind of like excited
That'll
for
be interesting.
I can't wait to hear all this stuff, I know I won't be freaked out about it, but some people will. So, that's why they've been trying to, they're like, planting seeds, if you will, out there to where when people hear something like this, it's not for some people it'll be totally outrageous, but not for everybody.
That's true.
And
there's always
so have heard little bits, even though they kind of maybe put it away or discounted it, but it's been there. So then when you hear this stuff, and of course, if it's on that huge global scale coming out, it's like, how can you deny it? Then, you see big changes.
Jeffrey made a comment too about, in regard to the story I told about this close family member. And he says, what about the best case scenario? And he was absolutely right. I tried also going that route too, Jeffrey. Got the same response. When you're locked down, you're locked down. And that's where this person was at, just not receptive.
But you know what?
But you're absolutely right. That is exactly the most important thing to focus on.
But everything you said, Walt, was not wasted, because again, you plant a seed. She heard you. Maybe she's not able to accept it right now, but because she did hear something like what you were saying to her, when she starts to come to her own understanding of it, she'll feel backed up. Like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get this now.
Yep. By the way, one of the things that was bothering her, you kind of alluded to it indirectly earlier. You said, well, we probably shouldn't even talk about that, because there are a lot of people who are reasonably concerned about the fact that, governments and corporations and so forth listen in on communications of various kinds. And it didn't occur to me at the time that I was talking to this family member. It occurred to me afterward, and I sent her a message about it. But there are technologies we have right now that can protect our communications. And many people may not be aware of them. Some people are. I mean, for instance, there's an app called WhatsApp that is an encryption app. It will encrypt everything from your end to the other person's end if you both have the app installed. Now, some people aren't really crazy about WhatsApp because it was created originally by Facebook. I get that entirely. But here's the cool thing. WhatsApp was created based on another app called Signal, which is open source and is not controlled by Facebook. You can do the same thing with Signal. You can get that installed into your phones. And if you both have it in your phones, you make a phone call or send text messages that way, totally encrypted. So if you're worried about that kind of thing, that's a great way to let go of the worry. Now, nobody can intrude on that conversation now.
You know, my husband uses a browser other than Google. He will not touch that one. And it's called DuckDuckGo. And
sure.
It protects your browsing history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. There's lots of different things out there. Right now, I just thought of that one just because I know people are concerned about, what's the government doing and so forth. Well, if you're concerned, there's a way to protect yourself. And it's very effective. It's more effective actually than if you're buying something from Amazon through HTTPS. That kind of protection is very good protection. This one's even better. So that's how strong it is. Yeah.
Right. And, I use Google because I kind of need it for like some of my business stuff and tracking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, you notice every social media thing you go on, the ads you see are generally the ads of things that you search for. Or have something to do with what you search for. So, it's all out there.
Yep. That's all part of their technology. And, I use it knowingly. I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. It's okay. The main thing is knowing when you need to keep it private. And when you need to keep it private, there are ways you can keep it private. And that's cool.
Yeah. But the cool thing is that, I don't know how much you pay attention to this with like Illuminati, Cabal, all these things, these forces that are kind of running everything.
I wait for you to report about it on Friday. Most of the time I'm not paying attention.
I'm not a good one to report on it. There's lots of people out there. David Wilcock for sure is one of them. Because, I've always told you, I just can't pull the information up. It's like, I hear it, I'm good. As long as those people can back it up and show all their sources, I'm happy with that, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he was really going on to kind of letting people know, there are parts of all of this, of the government, that are really on our side, that are really helping to get these influences out of our lives. Yeah. I mean, you hear people talking about how the monetary system is going to change. And I believe that it very well might be changing, but doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. It might actually be a really good thing.
There are a lot of ways it could end up. So yeah, I agree with that. It's way too early to judge how it's going to play out. Yeah. I mean, and I won't go into that in any greater detail, mainly because it'll bore everybody to tears. Because when I start talking monetary theory, eyes start glazing over. So we won't go there.
Okay. So, but now getting back to you and Louise. So Louise wasn't feeling well as well.
Yeah, we're both feeling it at times. I mean, right now I'm feeling great, partly because I'm doing a podcast. Louise is doing pretty much what she does most of the time during the winter, and that's watching stuff on YouTube, watching TV. She's been doing some knitting because our niece is pregnant and going to be expecting in September, I believe it is, and just the usual things. She and I were both laughing because we both saw a meme on Facebook that said, for the first time in history, we are able to sit at home and lay in front of the TV for the benefit of the human race. So don't mess it up. And that's what she's taking advantage of. Just vegging out in front of the TV and not worrying about anything, focusing on what she needs to feel good. And we're doing okay. Just because we felt some symptoms doesn't mean our world is ending. Quite the opposite. We're actually up and about doing things. We're fine.
What if those symptoms are just normal symptoms? Now, I'll give you another thing though, because I've had a little bit of something going on, and I never get headaches, but I had a little bit of headache, and I'm not worried about the virus in any way, shape, or form. I'm bringing this up for another reason. I felt some shifts going on in my body, even my stomach being a little weird, but not sick, just these little strange things. Mm-hmm. And for me, I feel like it's just part of the energy is really shifting fast right now, super fast. And so some of us might be feeling things going on that are not virus related, that are just related to what happens with the body when we start letting go of lower energies as we're shifting into a new way of being.
Sure.
So I choose to look at it that way.
Hey, yeah. I mean, we could even marry the two concepts together. The virus basically emerging through law of attraction because we're making that shift. you know.
I think, the virus is kind of causing like a clean sweep, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Which is really getting back to who you are, what's important to you, like stream down, clearing out. It's always that kind of thing, like making way for the newness to come in.
Yep.
There's something else I was going to say. Now I forget what it was, but I'm sure it'll come back.
Well, while you're thinking about that. Oh, go ahead. All right.
Okay. So I don't remember my dreams. I mean, I go to sleep. I usually put myself in night school. I don't know what the heck is going on. Sometimes I get little bits and pieces. If I've been binge watching some kind of show a lot, sometimes the show is playing out my mind, and I can kind of remember that. And that's just my mind processing all the crap I just took in. Mm-hmm. But last night, and I didn't remember it until I was doing something today, and somebody said something and it popped in my head, or it just popped in my head out of nowhere. I think I needed to be reminded that, I don't know if I was just falling asleep and maybe I got up to get a drink of water, came back to bed and was going to go back to sleep, or I was just dead asleep. I don't really know, but I was and I don't know all the details, and I hope I could remember. I kind of would like to know, but I do remember this part where I was working with something or someone, and I guess it was like I was getting my own healing session, because what happened was I could feel like something move out of me and float away. And wow. I remember thinking, wow, it's like I was telling myself, it was almost like a lucid dream almost. I was telling myself, wow, did you just see that? That just happened. Yeah. That just really happened. It just lifted and it just went away. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it was something that was been blocking me. And I wish I can get the details, because I felt like there was something that was being worked on, and then it happened. And then I completely forgot until sometime during today. And the other thing too is, now that I have this portal energy that I'm starting to interact with, when I went to sleep, I did ask these energies to teach me whatever it is I'm supposed to be learning to share with people, or if there's some healing that needs to take place, now's the time I'm going to sleep. Let's do that work. So who knows? I don't know what it was, but it was something, and it really took my attention, and I remembered it. So.
Well, that's just it. When we experience something that is, I mean, I think you described it as sort of a lucid dream. I would express that as something that was very vivid. It was so vivid that it was like, whoa, right in your face vivid. Like, I can't ignore this. It's so big in my impression right now.
Because I do remember myself saying to myself, did you see that really happened? Did you see that? Did you feel that? That really happened. I remember saying that. So it's like, that's why I feel like I was either in the dream or I wasn't in a dream, but I wasn't 100% aware of what was going on around me while something was taking place.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It's validating is what that is. That's where I was trying to go with it, that you received a very validating experience. It doesn't almost matter what the experience was really all about. You experienced it. And whether or not you have an explanation of it, you know that something really cool happened.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what the details are.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah. So very cool.
All right.
By the way, I also wanted to share a couple things that Josephine's been posting about. She, let's see, there's been quite a bit of conversation, so I have to kind of scroll up here, so bear with me for a moment. But she was saying, the other day I asked my angel card deck when this crisis will end. With the 6 cards spread, I got perfect timing, let your past go, be honest with yourself, shower of abundance, release and surrender. And focus on service. There were 6 of them. That's right. So
makes total sense to me.
Absolutely.
All of them.
Yeah. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
She also said, what does she have here? She said something else. Oh, for clarification, I asked my Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle, I guess that's a deck, what surrendering can be. I got 3 Graces, Midnight Prince, Storykeeper, Merlin, Keeper of Secrets, and Silver Sisters. Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. So I don't know those particular cards. I mean, they sound like they all kind of add up to something really cool, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I'm not too aware of them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, well, maybe we'll just call in some energy and just do a little bit of clearing on what's going on for people. I don't know what's going to come through, but we'll just let whatever happens happen. And then maybe after that, we'll do a few cards.
Sounds good. Yeah. And interesting, my reaction. You just talked about how you had this very strong reaction to this visceral experience you had. I'm remembering back to when you first came on the show and the first time you proposed doing a healing like this. And I was willing to do it, because I had never explored any of this stuff before, but it wasn't the feeling of what I just said right now. Right now, I said, sure, let's do it. Back then, it was like, okay, yeah, sure. Bit of a transition going on there.
Yeah, right. Because it's more real to you now, and
Exactly.
you've allowed yourself basically to feel and sense the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's where we'll start with, let me make a note. And I'll start there and I'll just see what comes out. Allowing healing energy. Okay. I just want to write that down. All right. So I don't know. Let's just do this thing.
All right.
So if you'd like to, if you're not driving in your car, and if you are, you might want to play this back again later or check it out on YouTube later on.
Please be safe.
Because I do want to get you nice and relaxed, and I would really prefer if you close your eyes so that you're not taking in any of this outside input. So let's do that.
All right.
But it's okay to drive. I mean, I listen to things like this sometimes when I'm driving. I'm just not, because it's happening anyway, but I'm not actively going into that meditative space because, of course, you got to be alert.
This is true. Yes.
You fail your driving test if it's like, is it okay to meditate and drive?
No.
No.
The answer to that is no.
Unless you can do it without really doing it.
Well, if you have that level of skill, that's fine. But I would do that before you go driving and make sure that you've actually got it down. And even then, I would still try to limit it to when you're not driving.
But I think the reason why I'm saying that is that you're always soaking stuff in. So it doesn't hurt to soak this in, even though you're not actively, getting into that theta brainwave or that really rested place.
Right. That's fine. That's fine. But make sure you're staying alert when you're driving.
If you really want to feel the energy of it and really feel and know that you are feeling it and experiencing it, you want to do it if you're not driving. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or anything that would require you to have your full attention on this other thing.
And how cool we can play this back.
Yeah. And in fact, I just did it. I did a video, releasing fear and worry and all that stuff. It's the last video I posted. I haven't posted in about 2 or 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. But it's on my YouTube channel, so you can go there and you can listen to that one as well.
Very good.
And so, all right. So let's get into that nice, receptive, open place by just allowing your breath, feeling that energy come in with your breath. Breathing out. So as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine that you're just pulling this light, this love, this universal energy into the top of your head. And just feel it subtly moving down through your body, down into your hips now, and your legs, your knees, going out through your feet. I want you to imagine that as you're breathing in, you're also bringing in, pulling in energy of this earth, the planet, up through your feet, going up through your legs, into your hips, up through your torso, your neck, out through the top of your head. Maybe imagine, and you could, if you want to, put your hands out and just feel, calling in this energy, pulling this energy of the universe, this love, this light, into your hands, pulling it into your body, maybe feeling it go down through your body, down through your legs, out through your feet. You could imagine that you're pulling it in through your hands, coming into your shoulders, up through your neck, out through your head. So we're just opening these different areas of your body, your head, your feet, your hands, and just pulling in this beautiful universal energy, this love, this healing energy of the all that is, allowing it to come into your body, and as if you can feel it kind of going through and into every single cell of your body, into the very DNA of your body. And so while we're building this energy, allowing ourselves to be in this receptive mode, because that's what we're doing. By pulling this energy in, we're opening ourselves up to receive healing, to receive information. Like even as I do this, you might have your own information come in. You might hear subtle voices, or you might just have a knowing come to you that all is well, if you just allow it. So everything that would prevent you and forbid you from allowing healing energy to come into you and to create a difference within your life, anything that would prevent that, we want to just uncreate and destroy all of it. right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That's destroying also all the vows, oaths, the decisions, all the energetic, mental, emotional ties to all of the times when you did not allow the healing to come in. Let's release anything that would make you feel unworthy of receiving healing. Anything that prevents you and forbids you to just be in a receptive mode, to be able to receive all the goodness that wants to come to you. Let's uncreate and destroy all those energetic, mental, emotional ties to all of the times when you closed yourself off and you would not allow good things to come to you. Yeah. So let's release all the energetic, mental, emotional ties. So all of those voices outside of you that made you, compelled you to believe you were not worthy to receive, that it was not safe to receive. Let's uncreate and destroy all of that, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. And that's just the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. So just allowing that energy to flow through your body now, being in this receptive mode, right? Okay, so let's also release all the vows, oaths, and decisions that you've ever made that forbid you and prevent you to hear the voice of your own soul, to receive guidance from those spirit around you, those high vibrational spirit that are there to support you, to guide you in your life. Let's release anything that doesn't allow that to happen. Yeah. So any of those experiences where you've closed yourself off, or maybe you felt it was too scary, or you didn't understand it, or you tried to explain it to someone else and they shot you down and said, that's impossible. You're not hearing that. You're making that up. All of those experiences, let's uncreate and destroy all of those energetic, mental, emotional ties to all of the times when that's occurred for you. Now, this is throughout your entire existence, throughout all time. And I want to download for you what it feels like to be open and receptive and allowing of all the good the universe wants to send to you. Let's download what it feels like for you to be able to ask questions of the universe without having to have your mind figure out how the answers show up, how the solutions show up, how the magic shows up. So anything that forbids you and prevents you from knowing that you are magical and that you are able to receive and create magic within your life, let's release all of that. Just letting it go. Yeah, goosebumps on that one. Letting all of that go. So let's just sit for a moment and feel. I'm going to try not to speak, but when these things want to come through, they just come through. But let's see if this is a moment now just to be quiet, to feel that soft buzz throughout your body, to feel your own energy expanding out, expanding past your physical body, expanding out 20, 30 feet all around you, above you, below you. Feel your energy expanding out miles and miles away. And now in this expanded energy, I want you just to feel yourself lifting up out of your body, lifting up out of the building that you're in, the vehicle you may be in, moving up and out, higher and higher into the sky, looking down at the whole world, seeing the beauty of it, feeling this overwhelming amazement at the magic of it all, feeling yourself expanding even more. And now you're just kind of floating up and out. It's as if you're going in every direction at the same time, although it feels like it's like in the outer limits of the universe, where this energy is just so expanded. And you just feel yourself moving through this space, this unlimited infinite space. And as you're moving through, you might see these different bands of color that you just so easily and gracefully flow right through. And maybe there's a little bit of a darkness in between, but you're just expanding out and out. And then you come up to this beautiful golden band of light, and you feel yourself being drawn into that golden band of light. And this is the fifth plane of existence, where all of the ascended masters reside, all those high vibrational beings who are in support of you and all that you're doing in your life. And you feel yourself even floating through that goldness, coming out into maybe that darker space. And then feeling yourself once again being pulled up into this beautiful band of, well, we can call it energy, we can call it light. But as you're coming into this band, it feels sort of thick, kind of like jello. And you're moving through it. It's a bit denser. And within this is the sixth plane of existence, where all of the laws of the universe reside. And you might see colors, you might see symbols, you might see geometric shapes, words, colors, just being in awe of this space, but feeling that it's kind of thicker, or, it's a different kind of a feeling. But you start to come through that. And then you feel yourself in this beautiful pink mist. And this is the law of compassion. And just soak in that energy of compassion. Compassion that we have for ourselves, for all of those other beings that we're connected to, for the whole planet, for the whole universe, for all of it. And then you're just in this energy, you're coming through back into that sort of darker space again. It's like these different layers of the universe that you're flying through. And then you see up ahead, maybe this opening, or this doorway, and it's bright white, and you're just drawn to it. And you go up and into this big open expanse of beautiful white light. This is the seventh plane of existence. This might feel very iridescent, maybe some blues and pinks and purples, very sparkly white, but so open, so expansive, you cannot even begin to know where it ends. It has no ending. So just feel the space of that. And take all of that energy and feel it coming into your body, where your body now it's as if it's dissolving into this light, becoming one with this light, this beautiful, sparkling creator energy. Seventh plane is the plane of the creator. And so you just feel yourself in this energy. No separation. It's just you. There's no end to you. You're just there. And so now in this space, we're just going to ask for a healing. And actually, I'm going to have you ask for whatever the healing is that you desire. And you can ask even with the thank you. Thank you for healing this situation within my life, this area of my life, this part of my body, whatever it might be, just ask away. Ask for the healing. Ask by thanking the energy for coming to you, right? So this energy is coming. And if you're not even sure what to ask for, just ask for thank you for this healing, for whatever it is that is for my highest and best good at this very moment in my existence. And I'll just let that energy flow. Let yourself get lost in the energy. Just for a moment. Feeling the light that you are. Your true nature, this pure love and light, this energy that is infinite, that is so beautiful. And just soak it all in, because in a moment we're going to be coming back into our bodies. So thanking Creator, God, the universe, all your guides, angels, whoever it is you felt was with you, all of them. Thank you for this healing. And I start to imagine that you're kind of gently and easily just kind of drifting and floating and dropping, or however it is that you feel yourself coming back to your body. And I want you to feel yourself even closer to your body, feeling yourself coming into your body, and feel yourself as if you're going down through your body, coming back into every single cell, but at the same time feeling your energy expanding down into the earth. It's as if a part of you just goes down and wraps like this cord or this tether around the center of the earth. Feeling yourself grounding back down. And at the same time, asking that earth energy to come up through that grounding cord, back up into your feet, into your legs, into your body, coming back up into your face. And then you could open your eyes. And just before you do anything, just kind of look around. Notice if colors seem more vibrant, or if there's this buzz of energy around you, or this cushion of warmth, or whatever it is might be feeling. It's different for everyone. So just notice what it is for you at this moment and remember that feeling. And even I'd go as far as imagine you're putting that feeling into a little ball of energy that you can call on anytime you need it. And in fact, let's take that ball of energy and just put it into your heart so that you can call on it at any moment. All right. Felt good for me.
It felt great. Oh, I am a buzz. I think most of our listeners are too.
All right, cool.
And for those of you who are driving who weren't able to totally partake, I thoroughly recommend that you go home when you're done for your day and replay this one. This one's a great guided meditation. So thank you for that, Linda.
You're welcome.
I'm feeling the buzz in all directions right now.
Yeah. It's probably even just a good place to end it. So some people can just stay with that energy. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, I can talk and feel that energy. I'm like somewhere else right now.
Yeah. That's very, very potent. Very potent. Very powerful.
So how about you? Is there anything you would share about whatever healing was that maybe you were asking for when you were up on that seventh plane? Or keep it private if you want to.
No, it's fine. I'm happy to tell. Just before you said something along the lines of asking for whatever would be in your greatest good. That was the track I was already on. Okay, I was just saying, the way I was thinking of it was, I want it all. Give me the best of everything. Just, pour it in here. I'm ready. And that's what I was getting. It was wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. It still is wonderful. I'm still feeling it. I mean, for me, you described a lot of things that people could be seeing. I tend to not see a whole lot of things in my dreams because I'm aphantasic. So image is not a big part of what I experience, but the physical feeling, the kinesthesiology type feeling, that was huge for me. That was, I mean, every single barrier was like, boom, we're coming through this one. Oh, there it is again. I can feel it there. It was just very, very strong for me.
So, and the good thing is that the clearings that we did in the beginning would make it easier for people to access that energy. And it's definitely something you can do over and over again and have a different experience every single time you do.
That was a big part of it because, I mean, there were times where you would be describing, the various steps we were taking, the various aspects of the progression. And I wasn't necessarily feeling what you were expressing. What I was feeling was just pieces of tension peeling away. This piece was going away. That piece was going away. It was just like I didn't even know before we started that my jaw was tight. I wasn't even aware of it. And during it, I mean, it was like my jaw was melting. It was really interesting.
Well, that's cool because that's a great explanation of how it can be different for all of you. But the more you start sensing and being aware of the energy, the more you notice how things are shifting for you, the easier it is for you to know that you have this ability to shift, that you can do it for yourself. Okay, right now I was doing it through a little bit of a guided meditation, but you can do that for yourself. Let me tell you, after you do a couple, the words just flow because once you open to it, you're just going to hear it. It's like, I have no plan. It's just whatever wants to come through comes through. And I'm no different than anybody else. So you can do the same thing. You just have to allow yourself to do it.
It's true. I find lately over the last few months, there've been a number of times where I've awakened after 5 or 6 hours sleep, and I know I want to go back to sleep for a couple more hours, but sometimes I don't instantly fall asleep. So I just allow myself to kind of do, I guess you could call it a meditation. Mainly I just, I've done enough, mirror work and self work that my mind doesn't go flying off on those tangents anymore, focusing on stuff I don't really like. So that part has actually gotten easy for me. And as a result, when I'm in this place, I'm, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm lying in bed. I just start focusing on, well, let's see, how do I want the day to go? Or what would I like to change about how yesterday went? How would I like to reimagine it and reinvent it? Or what's happening with Louise? How can I reinforce what she's doing? It's different every single time. And I can't say that it plays out the same way every time because it doesn't. It plays out differently every single time, but it's cool. It's cool.
Well, and I probably shared it before, but another thing you can do, and I've been using this one because it works for me, is the Access Consciousness crazy statement. And that is, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be.
I see why you call it what you do.
So, but the thing is, it shuts off your mind because your mind can't wrap itself around an answer for that. So it kind of gives up.
Right. Yeah.
And, our good friend, Harold Peck, Chief Harold Peck.
Yep.
He told me one that he uses. And when he told me, I was like, oh my God, that works great. And I don't know if everybody knows this one or not, but I never heard it. And he says, what he likes to say sometimes is, okay, so what's my next thought going to be? You can't do it. What's my next thought going to be? It just goes blank.
That's an interesting technique. I like that.
Yeah.
Because now instead of letting your mind just play back a tape, now you're engaging. Now you're actually focusing.
And because a lot of times when you can't fall asleep, it's because things keep playing in your mind. And it doesn't mean it has to be a problem. I know my son's like, I couldn't stop designing this thing in my head last night. I was trying to sleep. And my husband too, because they're that way. They like to invent things and tweak and, so he'll have all these ideas. I'm like, listen, just get a book out, write them down and say, okay, that's enough for now. I have to sleep, and then go to sleep. But
I had an example of that just last night, actually. Yesterday, I've been working on this big programming project. Everybody knows about it. And I reached a point, just before yesterday's show where I was pretty frustrated because I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. And then after the show was great. It was a wild show. After the show, we had some dinner and our usual stuff that we do in the evening. And then I went back to look at what I've been working on, and I was feeling so frustrated because none of it made any sense to me. I said, okay, gotta stop. Frustration isn't going to help. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll have a clear answer. And do you know what? I went to bed. I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and bam, instantly, I knew what the answer is, came in here. 5 minutes later, it was fixed. Just like that.
Yeah. Well, I just picked a card. I thought, let's pick a card to end with. But what I got was Blossoming Abundance in the reverse.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So
this is the card.
We actually have a few minutes too because we started late, so we're good.
Okay. This is the card right way up. It looks like a beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in reverse, let me grab some glasses. I actually pulled out a ton of decks, but it didn't seem like we were going there today. So increasing wealth and value. So the reverse card reveals a potential decrease in money with coins falling from the garden and out of sight. Sometimes when you receive this card in this position, it may even feel as though cash is slipping through your fingers like water. Now, I mean, that could be an indicator for all those people who had to shut down their businesses. I know I have had to.
Yep, we can.
And while this might seem like an ongoing state of affairs, you can still turn things around. Be very conscious and responsible where money issues are concerned. Take action to plant new seeds and nurture your financial garden with patience and clarity. This cycle will end, and you will, in time, enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, yeah, I'll take that.
Sure. In fact, I can think of some practical, real world stuff going on right now that fits that for a lot of people. For instance, with all the self quarantining and staying at home and so forth, a lot of people in the service industry, restaurant workers, bar workers, all that kind of thing, are finding themselves out of work at a time when they really need to have the money coming, and government's trying to get involved in, sending money to everybody and so forth. Well, Amazon and Walmart, two of the biggest employers, have just announced major initiatives, despite all this unemployment, major initiatives to bring people on. Walmart's
Oh, wow.
announced they're going to hire 150,000 people as fast as they can, just because they have so much demand going on. They need people, and they're going to offer a pretty good wage for it too. Same thing with Amazon.
Right.
I don't know what the numbers are for Amazon, but when I see a large corporation, and let's be honest, corporations get a lot of flack, often very reasonably. I mean, there's a lot of good reason for it sometimes, but they are capable of doing good things. Here's good things happening, and they do it for business purposes. They aren't doing it just out of the goodness of their hearts. They do it because they really believe it's going to pay off for them. So I look at that as a signal. Yeah, sure. Right now, your business is shut down. Our business is shut down. But Walmart and Amazon believe this is a time to invest in workers, not a time to lay them off. That's a signal. That means they think this is going to last very long either.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to last very long. Hopefully that's right.
I think it's true.
So I picked another card. I think this is a perfect card. I thought, let's see what the angels want to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got what do you desire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it says, you now have the opportunity to write the script according to your heart's true desires, which is so cool because really that's the way I take it. Like we're all like about to embark in something totally new.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's almost like the virus is wiping the slate clear so that we can refocus back to who we are and what we want to do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, once you clearly decide upon your true desires and know that you're ready and deserving of them, they'll rush into your life as if by magic. So we did touch on a little bit of that in the beginning. I think there was something coming through about receiving, knowing that you're worthy, right? Mm-hmm. I'll have to listen back again, but I'm quite sure that stuff was coming through.
Yep.
And it says, this card comes to you because you've been waiting for external signs of what you should do next. The angels say that the answer comes from inside of you. Mm. You must decide what you want before anything can change. Carve out time to meditate upon your heart's true desire and know that you deserve the best, as we all do, which speaks right to almost being forced to do nothing so that you can kind of maybe reconnect with what it's like to be able to do nothing and play with your kids instead of running around after this and that and the other thing and giving your soul away to your employer or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Or deciding even that, because that's a big message this whole year that God, I really don't enjoy what I'm doing. I want to enjoy my life. Some other virus might come and wipe me out next time. So what do I want to do with my life right now?
Yeah.
It really makes you kind of reevaluate things, maybe clear things out, because that's a big message too. Just cleaning out and clearing out the things that just don't serve you anymore, that are just taking space and collecting dust.
That's precisely what getting well is. When you're dealing with a virus situation like this, that's exactly what getting well is. The body is literally fighting off these invaders, and then when it fights them off, it needs to clear the detritus out of the way. It needs to clear, the toxic stuff that it created by killing all the stuff off. It has to clear it out of the way. I'm sure that's what I was feeling earlier.
And it's also building immunities, right?
And building immunity at the same time.
Stronger.
That's right. Yeah. It's an interesting thing, but the fact is the body is always at alert. It's always paying attention to this kind of thing. And when that invader comes along, it's like having an entire army at your disposal, just saying, okay, we're going to take the enemy out right now, charge. And it goes in and takes care of the enemy for you. And the way we experience it is we feel some fever sometimes, or we feel a chill or whatever. And our job is just to take care of ourselves during that and let the body do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, because I noticed today's the 20th. I don't pay attention. Is it?
Today is the 20th.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So next week is when we have Rita Giganti coming.
Yes. Talk about Rita a little bit. Yeah.
And so, maybe the conversation is going to be her tapping into, what's going on with all of this as well. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what comes up.
Tell people a little about Rita's background, because she has a very interesting background. And it was one of the reasons that kind of led us to say, oh, let's see if we can reach out to her. She's a fascinating person. Right.
So Rita's written a couple of books. And she has a one-woman show that she's done, like an off-Broadway as well. She and I'm not sure what that show is about, but she could talk about that. I know she's got something big coming up in the works, but I don't know that she's able to talk about it yet. Okay. But her first book that she wrote is The Godfather's Daughter. Why? Because her father was the head of the 5 families of the mob in New York City for a long period of time. That's what she grew up in.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see if she wants to touch on any of that. Whatever comes. I told her we're just going to wing it. Anything you want to talk about, we'll talk about, and we'll see what happens.
I think it's fascinating too that somebody who has that background, that's the kind of background where you could feel really inhibited about doing anything with your life because, your father was this person who did, all these terrible things. How do you possibly live that down? But she decided not to look at it that way. She decided to just completely be her own person, turned herself into something so different from what her father was that it was almost unrecognizable.
But she actually could have never acknowledged the fact that he was her father.
That too.
Because, there could be lots of Rita Gigantes.
Sure. Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
With that last name, it's an Italian name. There's probably plenty of them. But so she did because it's part of her story and it's what, it's how these gifts came to her, because she had her major dark night of the soul going on. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if she talks about that or not, but it's all in her book, The Godfather's Daughter.
All right. So something to look forward to will be next week with Rita joining us and telling whatever part of the story she's going to tell and doing her psychic stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Just a reminder to everybody, if you're not yet subscribed, this is why you want to be a subscriber, so you get all this advance notice about what's coming on. Plus, you get 5 great shows coming to you every single week, all designed for one purpose in mind. That's to give you your daily dose of happy. And we do it better than anybody else out there. That's why our listenership keeps growing. So please become a subscriber. Go to the homepage of our website, loatoday.net. At the top of the page, you will find instructions, usually about a click or two. And just following those instructions, you will be subscribed. You'll get all these episodes coming to your device every day. Plus, you can also check us out on YouTube. You can find Linda on YouTube. Linda has like this amazing library of stuff on YouTube. And you can also find LOA Today there, subscribe there, and follow us there as well. And that's how you get to follow every single day and lead up to the point where I say to Linda, thank you very much for leading us through this wonderful meditation today, because that was great. You've led some good ones before. That was a really good one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah.
That felt
I get to enjoy it as I say it. Like, that's why I love the work I do, because when I start holding that energy, there's nothing like it. It's the best high in the world. Yeah. My energy just expands, and then it stays that way.
And I've had enough experience with it, talking to you and talking to others, but especially talking to you on this podcast, that I now understand when we have that really big experience, I can't always identify in detail what's coming out of it, but something great's always coming out of it. Every single time, I have a whole cascade of events that follows in the days after that I look back and I say, that's got to be all connected. I don't know how it's connected, but it's got to be all connected, because it's such a big change that happens every single time.
Right. So I'll just add, it's because you're seeing your experience or feeling, sensing in some way your truth, who you really are. And when you feel that, you realize that you're capable of so much more. Yeah. And that's why I love the work I do, because I help people to just get rid of the stuff that's in the way from being who we are. Mm-hmm. We got lots of baggage there. We can just clear it all out.
Well, I left a whole bunch of it at the station today, so thank you for the help with that. That was great. Thank you very much, live streamers. Thank you especially to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.